It is 10:10 and we start right on time around here. Welcome to Get Credentialed 2026. I'm Diane Michael with Callan Group Communications, and I'm joined by my CAM partner and girlfriend, Lindsay Lombardi, with Coastal Living Association Management and Dominion Management. Lindsay and I started Beyond the Boardroom about 2 years ago with a pretty simple idea: make quality education easier and more accessible for community association managers and board members for free, thanks to our association ally partners. Whether today is your first Beyond the Boardroom event or you're one of our Webinar Wednesday regulars, welcome. And if you were with us this morning, welcome back. A few important things before we begin. First, I will be putting our CAM attendance verification and FAQ page into the chat. Please bookmark this page. This is where you'll submit your attendance verification after each course, and it also answers the most common questions we receive about attendance, verification codes, credit submission, and DBPR posting. Please review that page before emailing our team with questions or adding to the Q&A today. There's a very good chance your answer is already in there. I'll continue putting important links into the chat throughout the event so you don't have to go hunting for anything. Second, take advantage of our education library. Beyond the Boardroom isn't just about the course you're taking today. We have a growing library of past educational programs from our trusted association allies. And I want to encourage you to remember these companies when you're looking for vendors and requesting proposals for your communities. Most associations seek multiple bids. If one of our association allies has spent their time educating you and you believe they're qualified for the opportunity, we'd love for you to consider allowing them to be one of those bids. As we all know, budget season is upon us. That's one of the ways this entire free education ecosystem continues to work. Third, if Beyond the Boardroom has helped you, we'd love your help growing it. I'm putting our Google review link in the chat as well. If you believe this free education has been valuable to you or has helped you become a better CAM, a 5-star review means a tremendous amount to us. And referrals matter just as much. Tell another CAM, tell a board member, tell someone at your management company, or recommend us to a vendor to help get them more access to the state of Florida. The bigger this community becomes, the more education and industry experts we're able to bring directly to you. And one final reminder, day 2 is tomorrow. I'll put tomorrow's registration link into the chat today. If you're not already registered, get registered because we have another excellent lineup waiting for you. Lindsay, will you please go over how you submit credits?
I will. So at the end of the course, I will provide the course name, the code word that we provide. You have to have the code word in order to get credit. That's how we kind of can say that you were here for the whole class. And then the link that you need to go to. There you'll submit your first name, middle initial, and last name as it appears on your CAM license, your CAM license number, and then again, the course name and the code word, and that information will be submitted to us, and then we will submit that to the DBPR. Please, as I said in the class earlier today, we really need you all to adhere to the 24 hours. We need those submitted before the start of tomorrow's courses in order to get you guys credit as fast as possible. Because if you submit it before tomorrow, then I can submit those courses from today, tomorrow, etc. And that way, if it takes a while for the DBPR to get those in the system, they'll still be in time for your license renewal, which is why we're doing this.
Okay. All right, guys. And so we do have the chat enabled because we want you to go into the Q&A section, not chat, because that is where I put in everything and Lindsay puts in everything for you guys that you need. However, as we start these courses, I like to show the presenters where everyone is joining us from today. So I just open chat. So do me a favor, go into chat. Let Tom know where you're coming in from while I give the introduction here for him. I also I'll put it again since everyone's putting it into the chat. I'll add the rest of the agenda today into the chat. Okay. Tom Gilbert brings nearly 3 decades of hands-on experience to the swimming pool industry. Beginning his career as a laborer, he worked his way through every stage of the profession before building and leading his own successful company, which I'm sure everyone can appreciate. That journey gives Tom a unique real world perspective that combines technical experience with practical problem solving. A lifelong learner, Tom is committed to staying at the forefront of the industry by continually expanding his knowledge in pool construction, safety standards, green building practices, and emerging technologies. His passion for quality craftsmanship, innovation, and education has earned him a reputation as a trusted resource for homeowners, contractors, and industry professionals alike. Just go ahead and Google East Coast Pools and Spas. You'll see all the five-star reviews, all the awards that they've received, all the industries that they partake in, all the education that they've provided. The list goes on and on. And that's really important in any industry, but definitely in the construction industry when it comes to commercial construction. Unfortunately, there are a lot of bad actors out there. We see that on the news all the time. So know who you hire. Today, Tom will share insights drawn from decades of firsthand experience, helping community association managers and board members better understand best practices, common challenges, and practical solutions that protect their communities and investments. Welcome and good morning, Tom.
Good morning, everyone. So today we dig deep, comparing apples to apples before you dive in. It's basically a clear view beneath the surface how to evaluate pool construction and renovation proposals like a pro. So, introduction, why clear bidding matters, importance of transparency and trust, the cost of unclear expectations, and a case study of a $50,000 mistake from a murky bid. Basically, one of the biggest mistakes like you find is sometimes people will miss a lot of things when they come and give you a bid on a job. In this particular case, they missed that the plaster itself had failed all the way down to the pool shell and had recoated it over the old finish. And it was an inside the building resurface job, and it just come right off within like the first year. They disappeared on them. It was a fly-by-night business basically, and they had to pay it again. So basically, and then it cost them about $70,000 to resurface this pool, just over, because they used the cheapest bid at the time. So that's why you got to really look into everyone's bids and also try to make sure you see who you're actually doing work with. So on to the next here. Understanding and comparing bids. What does apples to apples really mean? So right now I'm going to share with you guys a sample of basically a sample bid sheet that you guys can maybe use. If you could go ahead and load that form up, Diane.
Yep, I'm let me get it right in here. Keep on going. I'll pull it right up. Or do you need to see it?
No, I don't need to see it.
Okay, go ahead then. I'm gonna pull it and I'm just looking.
So
Where did I do?
basically this sheet here, you can use it to try and compare apples to everyone else. It's like a sample bid sheet. Some of it will pertain to entire project for you and some won't. It just really depends on like what type of remodel you're going for, or resurfacing. Is it getting tile? Is it not getting tile? Another thing to compare is to make sure that whoever's doing the project is removing all the tile, not just keeping the old tile on the pool. Timelines, material list, scope of work, labor breakdown, which the labor breakdown is a little bit tricky. If you're using an in-house builder like we are, we completely do the whole project in-house, then the labor breakdown is kind of easy for us to do. But on a lot of the builders that you're going to find out there, they're not really, they're just contractors. They're not builders. So they just contract the whole job out. You give them the job and they come in as the pool, acting like the pool builder, but really they're just contracting the entire project out. So you'll only have like a superintendent that comes around every once in a while. And then you'll have different subs come in and do all different types of the project. So instead of seeing on a place where you hire that has in-house employees, you'd see the same guys all constantly. So you get to know them, and then you feel more comfortable with those people. Instead, you have subs that who knows who you get day to day. It's just totally different. And then the timeline and milestones. Basically, you want to get some sort of timeline like a cutoff time, like, hey, this project's going to take X amount of days, not just letting them go out there and take forever. I've seen a simple pool remodel take 90 days when it should have been like 20 days total time. So you want to put some sort of timeline in there when you want to start it and how long you want the project to be done in. And then the permitting responsibility. This is another thing right here. All commercial pools all need have to have an inspection from your health departments in your area. So you want to make sure that you're hiring a licensed pool contractor, not a residential pool contractor, a commercial pool contractor, so that they're doing all the right things and getting all the right permits. It's kind of a big deal, especially with the health department, because if you remodel your pool and they don't get a health department permit and an inspection, when they come out to do your yearly inspection, they will close your pool down until you resubmit a permit and go through all that paperwork until you get a final inspection from them, which could take a month sometimes. Your pool would be down. And then you're really taking some grief from the people that live there. So you want to make sure that you're hiring the right person and that they're applying for the permitting. So that's got to be on the sheet too as well. And then payment schedules. You don't want to give them all the money up front. You want to make sure that a regular deposit, standard for the area for pool construction is around 8 to 10% deposit. We usually do around 5%, but up to 10% is a normal scheduled for a deposit. And then after that, you want to make sure that you at least have like 4 draws. You don't want to give them all the money up front. You don't want to get ahead of them too far on payment so that you can keep them to stay on your job. That's how you can keep them around. But you don't want to also drag their payments out so long that in the time that it takes to get the job started, that you're behind on payments with them too, because that can also make them get a little irritable and not want to come back too as well. And then insurance, you want to make sure they have insurance, workers' comp, vehicle insurance. A lot of times you want to have them as your name you as your listed insurer on their insurance policies for their vehicles that come on your property. It's very helpful. And then we go on to the next here. Beneath the surface, hidden costs and common omissions. Change orders, what typically excluded. Extra layers of tile can be the problem here in a change order. So what we've come to find is a lot of people love to put tile over tile. And I will never put tile over tile. And you don't want to see anyone put tile right over the old tile. It's just laziness. It's just trying to cut corners. But that's a change order that can happen if someone comes to do a remodel on your pool. They start to take the tile off and realize there's 1, 2, 3 layers of tile. I've seen 4 layers of tile on a pool that just got tiled over 4 different times. It's insane, but it does happen. So that could be a change order there. Pool finish that had no bond coat, that could definitely be another change order. That's a very big problem out there too, is plaster companies are just coming in and plastering right over the old finish with no bonding agent. You need to make sure they're doing bond coat for sure. And then the scum gutters out there, what we've found that you do so many layers of plaster over your scum gutter and you just keep raising the grade up higher and higher and higher. So when you keep raising your scum gutter grate, now your water level is higher in your tanks. So where the pool equipment sits and all that, the older ones have concrete tanks. Now all the new ones are all fiberglass. But that raises the water level in that tank, which keeps making you have to keep adjusting your automatic filler and raising the water level higher and higher in the tank, which gets it closer and closer to the overflow. So now you're finding that your water level is so high in there that if you're not constantly monitoring it when people use it, you're actually wasting water because it's going out the overflow constantly. Especially if you've done 3 layers of extensions, you've raised the water level up over an inch in your tank. So that can be definitely a spite for a little change order, because if we come along, we're going to take all layers down all the way to the concrete, all the way back to the original shell. We take it on the scum gutters so that you don't have to use a scum gutter extension. You're just going straight right to the regular heights, right back to the original height that it was set to originally, which is a good thing to do. And then site-specific adjustments, grading, drainage, utilities. Those are really just mostly for new construction that you kind of come along, that the drainage of like your system needs to go into a sewer system or a catch basin. Utilities, gas lines not ran, and grading, of course, for like around like the site, and you might have drainage and stuff that you have to do. We do see a lot though on coming across common problems is if we replace all the equipment on your job, now you have to come up to the new standard. So you have to now drain your backwash into the sewer system, or you have to build a little septic system for it to go in. You can no longer just drain it on the ground, dump it into the ocean, dump it into the river. You'd be surprised where it's been going all these years. So that's a big thing to keep in mind if you're going to have all the equipment replaced on your pool there. You need to make sure that you set that aside about $4,000 or $5,000 just for that drainage there. And then permits, inspections, and HOA fees. Permits, remodels, new construction, those all get an inspections. You get a inspection on a remodel as well as new construction. The HOA fee reviews, those are basically just for new construction. And then one good thing about all this here is to get away from some of the hidden costs. If you're having a remodel done and you don't know if your pool leaks, majority of the pools leak, by the way, all commercial pools. Shut your autofill off for a couple days. This will determine how much water you're losing on the pool and how much you're actually filling this pool up constantly. You just don't realize how much these pools leak over time. If you're seeing a big loss of water, we're talking maybe like 3 inches in 2 days, you probably should call a leak detection company out there before you even really get a bid on the resurface, so that now you know where the leaks are in the pool, so that you can specify those on your sheet that I provided to say, hey, the pool leaks here, we already know, so we need to make sure that you're repairing those areas. Especially if you have a broken pipe underground, especially old scum gutters, they like to use flexible pipe there, and those are constant leaks. See it all the time. So you would need to know, hey, pool leaks over here. We need this scum gutter replaced. Make sure you hire a contractor that actually can handle that job. And then you would get all those repaired. And then you would cut down on the cost of water. You'd be surprised how much water these go through. And then the warranty, maintenance, and service. You want to make sure you hire a reputable company that's actually going to have a warranty for you. And if they have a maintenance and service provide, so that if something breaks on your pool, you can call them out to help you fix it. Especially like some of the equipment, especially with now everything's got to be automated and stuff like that for your auto chem systems. But if they can do all that stuff for you, it just helps you a lot. Maybe you don't want them to service in the pool, but at least if you're having an issue over there, you can call them out. And now that you got a reputable company, they're actually going to come out and help you out and take care of your warranties. So filter it right, how to evaluate bids objectively. So a bid comparison worksheet, that's the template that we provided earlier. So this is going to help you guys a lot here, I think. If I was just getting into having a resurface done, I would love to have a sheet like this for sure. And then red flags to watch out for: insurance, time in business. You want to see them, like 3 to 5. You really want to see 5 years in the commercial industry doing commercial remodels. And then if they don't have in-house crews, that's usually a red flag that they're just a contractor and they're not a builder. So they're not actually doing anything in-house. And then that's when you can also make sure that they're a licensed contractor. And then vetting, credentials, and reviews. You want to make sure they have some pretty good reviews online. You don't want to find a company that has like 1 or 2 reviews on there. That's another red flag. And then questions to ask each vendor. Are you an in-house employer? How many superintendents would I have? How many superintendents do you have that can do all the work that you're handling? How many jobs do you currently have going on? How long till you can start my job? How long will it take? So you don't want them just jumping on your job. Oh, we can get to it in a month or two. Or like say everyone you talk to is like 3 months out and you talk to one guy and he's like, yeah, we'll get there in 2 weeks. Well, either he doesn't have any business because there's a problem there, or he's just lying to you and says he will start. Yeah, he'll come drain your pool and then he'll let it sit for months on end. And then the next thing you know, you're 120 days in and the pool's still not resurfaced. And then you want to make sure that you ask and make sure every vendor you talk to that if you're replacing the tile, that they're taking the tile off. That can be like a very big problem. You see it too often, especially with the step tiles. They love to just tile right over the old step tiles. You don't want to have anyone do that. It just causes leaks over time or wear. It's just a bad situation in general. And then a splash test, a guide to walk through of real bids, side by side analysis of sample proposals. So you want to make sure that you can at least get 3 bids. That will help a lot. And then an interactive exercise, spot the differences. Really want to make sure that you can see, like, if you compare each bid with this actual timeline here, that it'll help you a lot and get everything dialed in. And then commuting expectations to vendors. Basically creating a bid request template. That's what Diane gave you guys earlier, is the bid request template. That will help you guys a lot. And then as you go along, you may find that you'll add something to it or remove it, or if you're gonna do some deck work, you would add that to the template, but it'll still help you along. And then leak detection, that's a big one. Just go ahead and either who you're hiring, have them do a leak detection before they start, or do it on your own before you start, which is probably the best way to do it. Just hire them on your own. That way you can get a real leak detection from your own person instead of trusting whoever you're hiring to do a leak detection. And they may just have a couple guys out there mess around, instead of getting a real list from like American Leak Detection or Leak Finders or somebody, where they actually give you a whole spreadsheet and a list of all the leak locations and the pressure testing of the plumbing lines. They do about, I think they go up to like 25 psi on all the pressure lines. So then you're really getting an accurate test on if the plumbing's leaking or where the fittings are leaking around the lights. Just depends. Floor returns are constantly leaking. And then how to ensure each bidder includes the same details, basically by using the bid sheet. Then you would be able to compare everybody. And then managing expectations with homeowners and boards. Real-time information, that's big here. That's when you want to make sure that you have a contractor that actually has communication. You'd be able to talk to somebody. You want to have a supervisor, but if you have the same staff there all the time, they show up that day, first day during the pool, and that's the same staff that's there again doing the tile, you'll be able to get timelines just based off the guys that you talk to when they're there. So you don't actually have to talk to a superintendent. You can just talk to the employees that are there because they're going to be back the next day. They'll let you know what's going on. So it just makes it a little bit easier for information. But it's not always easy to find an in-house builder. We're probably one of very few in-house builders out there. But you got to have at least a couple laborers at least on your crew, at least, especially on a commercial project. It's just way better. So let's see. Final takeaways and resources, summary checklist for comparing apples to apples, links to the DBR resources and FSPA guidelines. That'll definitely help you here. It's final exam. So we're going to go over 10 questions together and see how you guys do. Question number 1. What is the primary risk of unclear pool project bids?
Okay, I'm opening the chat so you guys can put it into the chat, the answers. And here they go. Okay. Looks like it's unanimous. C.
C is the correct answer. Costly mistakes and delays. That's definitely the biggest problem I see out there. Okay. Question number 2. Which of the following is not a must-have in every pool project bid? This becomes an issue quite often.
We got again. Well, some people, there's C, they're A.
Is not a must-have. C is the correct answer here. Vendor's favorite color. This becomes a problem when you get a lot of people on the board that want to come and pick the colors out. And then they get their favorite color, and then it becomes a problem with everybody else. Question number 3. What are hidden leaks in pool project bids referring to?
Okay. Again, we got some mixed responses, Tom.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
B is the correct answer here. Hidden costs and omissions. Hidden leaks in project bids. It's a hidden cost. Question number 4. What is the purpose of comparing apples to apples?
Okay, this one seems like we're all back on track. Well, there's a few B's in there, but mostly A's, Tom, mostly A's.
All right, we're getting better. Ensuring bids have the same details for fair comparison. You just want to make sure everyone has the same, you're bidding on the same project with each vendor so that you can definitely have the same pricing come along.
Yes.
Question number 5. Which factor can significantly change cost depending on the property site?
Okay. And there was only well, mostly everyone is on a C, some A, some B. What's going on, guys? Are we paying attention?
C is the correct answer here. Grading and drainage issues.
Maybe they're responding late.
Yeah. Question 6. Why is a bid comparison worksheet helpful?
Okay. And lots of B's.
B is the correct answer here. It simplifies evaluating bids objectively. Question number 7. Which of the following is a red flag in a pool bid?
Okay, and it appears like there's a bunch of C's coming through.
C is the correct answer. Missing permit details. That means they're trying not to pull a permit. Question number 8. What should cams and boards do when requesting bids from vendors?
Okay, looking at all B's over here. Back on track, people. Back on track.
Ensure all vendors include the same details. That's a big one. Question
Yes.
9. What is an example of a long-term cost often overlooked in bids?
Okay. Again, we've got a couple different options or answers rather, but
Long-term. That's what they got to think about. Long-term. Long-term. Maintenance and service agreements.
okay.
Question number 10. Why is clear communication with vendors important?
Gosh, and isn't that true about every industry, but especially for commercial construction, especially for the biggest asset or one of the top largest assets of your association? And, if you don't like Tom said, if you don't have a team that's in the office that is handling the project, I mean, to get any answers, to get callbacks, to get emails responded to in a timely manner, it's a shame when it happens, but just remember, when you're making those decisions of who you choose in the bid process, if they don't have a team behind them, you're going to be waiting on communications.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem, especially when the pool season comes around and you're getting some work done and you got 100 people trying to use the pool every day.
Oh, yeah.
So on this one, A is the correct answer here. It prevents misaligned expectations. So here's our contact information if you guys would like to reach out to us, have any questions or anything that we can go through.
I'm going to also put it into the chat, but we do have a few questions here. If you have any questions for Tom while we have his attention, this is the time. Again, they're one of the best in the business. Okay, first question. Is the pool industry and markup is 100% markup? How does an association afford services? I don't know where you got 100% markup there, Dominic,
Yeah.
but you wanted to
Wish.
answer that, Tom?
What was the question?
In the pool industry and markup is 100% markup. How does an association afford services?
I don't understand that question.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
make.
not 100% markup. I mean, if
How
it
do
is,
they
I'm in the wrong
how do they
business.
afford the services?
That's what it said. Do you
Yeah.
need a permit for replacement of a pool pump?
If you're replacing the whole pump, yes, you're supposed to get a permit because you have to get a water flow chart.
And you know what? Will you also just briefly or take as much time as you need? Um, Warranty information, if they're not hiring the right type of contractor, like who's making sure that these things are put in properly, that they have warranties, that that they have the permits. I mean, it's just it all goes along the lines of hiring the right people.
Correct. There's really no way. I mean, you can call your city though and make sure that they got a permit for you, but the way to tell they have a permit is you sign, at least a good general way is that you signed an NOC from them, that you have to have an NOC done for any product over $2,500.
And
So
what's
we
an
want
NOC?
notice of commencement. That's telling them that they're commencing work on your property. And then that's one thing way you could tell that they had you sign that, as well as a permit. You have to be the one to sign the permit as well. And then you can call the city and see if they applied for a permit. But
Okay.
for the
We just
warranty and for the
yep.
warranty and stuff, you can go by what material they use. So that's why you want to specify what material you want them to use and make sure they don't change and use, like, like Kleenex is a name that everyone hears, but Kleenex is made by a million different companies now. So it's just like it's just like Quartz Finish. So say they're going to do just Quartz Finish, for instance, today. I'm going to resurface your pool with Quartz Finish. Well, Quartz Finish is Diamond Bright, Crystal Crete, Marquee. I don't know. There's like 10 manufacturers of it. So that's why on your sheet there, you should probably research and find that either you like Diamond Bright or Florida Gem's a good one. We recommend Florida Gem over all of them. Or Marquee, that's another good one. You would research and put that on your sheet. I want you guys to use this particular brand of a quartz finish. It doesn't cost them any more, but it'll at least put on there at least what you want to use. You don't have to let them decide on what they use because they don't care. They'll plaster it the same. It all plasters the same. It doesn't change anything. But then you could find out what warranties are better and which company represents better, because in the end, when you have the pool resurfaced, the manufacturer is going to come out there and look at the pool finish if there's a problem. So you want to go with a manufacturer that's in your area, especially in the state of Florida. Probably Florida Gym is probably the biggest one right now, and they stand behind their product really well, really well. But usually a warranty claim is usually on a prep problem. They come out there and they see the pool wasn't prepped properly, and then that falls back on the contractor. So you want to make sure you hire a good contractor that's going to stand behind their work.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you hire a licensed commercial pool contractor, so that if you're having a problem with them, you can always reach out to the state, and that
That's
gets
right.
their license involved, and now they're going to have to do something. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I
Selfishly.
like how you said, make sure that they've been in business doing commercial work and have a commercial license. And guys, go the extra mile, and look at the DBPR and the CILB to see if there's any complaints against the company. I have a lot, in our marketing agency, we do a lot of home service business. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of bad actors in this industry. And you
It's
just don't want a
unfortunate.
nightmare. Yeah,
It's
you don't want a night.
unfortunate for sure. And you can also
Um,
go on the Better Business Bureau too. Some people use that still.
Absolutely. The bid sheet I did put into the chat. You should be able to see it right there, as well as the contact information and YouTube channel or website rather for East Coast. You can also take a picture of the screen. A couple more questions here. There's just a comment from Mary Ann. We had 3 layers of tiles. That's such a shame.
Hmm.
3 layers of tiles. Is there a limited amount of approved tile by code to resurface your pool in Florida? And then comment is meaning when I try to resurface my pool, they only give me 2 types of approved tile in the Miami-Dade code.
No, there's a bunch of tile from like Love Tile is one of the bigger tile suppliers for commercial grade tile. But I wonder if she's talking about the non-skid tile. On the non-skid side, let's see what I have in here. There's probably like 10 color choices. There's not a whole lot on the non-skid bullnose. But on regular 6x6 wall tile, you can pretty much use whatever you want. It's only the scum gutter edge and all the steps. Those have to be non-skid. And those are only about 10 colors. But the waterline tile, you can pick whatever you want.
Yes, non-skid is what they jumped
Yeah.
in and said.
About 10 tiles is about all there is. There's not a whole lot out there.
Next question or comment. I am having an issue finding the correct parcel code for my property. So when I get an NOC, it is incorrect. Do you know where I could find that? If not on a Flagler website?
Property appraiser website. You should be able to find it on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look up
Appraiser
your
website.
address and it should be right there on that first page.
Yeah. That's where we go. Property appraiser.
Okay. Our pool had leaks repaired inside the pool, but out of 3 leak detection suppliers, no one will inspect the additional pool waterfall. They just say they don't work on them. Who else can I contact to help? Do you know why? And then Penny, we would need to know what area you're in, and I'm sure you can contact East Coast and they can help direct you. But do you know why that would be, Tom?
It could just be the waterfall style itself. Could have so much plumbing in it that they can't seem to get to where they could cap it all off. It just really depends on the waterfall itself.
Okay. Anything that you want to add, Lindsay, for questions?
Um, I guess I do want to ask a question because it actually brought a question up in my mind when you were talking about a warranty issue with a surface. So I mean, if you notice that there's an issue with your warranty in it or with your surface a few years down the road, and at this point, they come out and they say, well, it was the prep. I mean, what's your rep? How long wouldn't that be past the point of where the actual contractor would have warranted their work?
Yeah, I think you have to go to 5 years.
Okay, 5 years.
I mean, in a commercial pool, only on the resurface only lasts about 7, unless you go to Pebble, which is what we recommend, and you can go to about 12 with Pebble, 12 years. But yeah, so you're close to almost being done anyways. At 5 years, the finish starts to get a little dingy a little bit.
Okay. If there are no other questions, we love Tom. He gets us through a lot of information fast, which we can all appreciate to have a little bit of time in between our next courses. Again, we highly, highly, highly recommend East Coast Pools and Spas. They have been involved with the Florida Swimming Pool Association, the Pool and Hot Tub Association, the CAI, BAM Volusia, lots of CAM organizations. They've been presenters for a long time, just industry leaders, and we just could not recommend them more. So please take a picture of the screen and cut and paste any information that I put in the chat to get in touch with them. Because Tom is involved in so much, he does have throughout the state. But Tom, real quick, will you just tell us what service areas you're in?
St. Johns County, Flagler County, Volusia County, Orange County, some Brevard County, northern end of Brevard County. So we cover a long area. I've been going to Lakeland lately on some commercial projects. So we cover a pretty vast area of Florida. I do have some friends like in Tallahassee area, Tampa, as well as Miami that I can recommend. Those three areas that are really reputable contractors.
Love it. Okay, well, we'll let you get back with your day. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem.